Welcome, weary traveler! Prithee, take off thy boots and stay a while, whilst I weave you a spell of... I'm a little confused, to be honest. Am I a wizard, or am I the dungeon master? Because this kind of feels like a wizard's outfit, but like... What do you mean, whatever? They're two completely different things. One of them's a character in the game, the other one is like, kind of like God. All right. I mean, this clearly looks like a wizard's robe that you got at like the Halloween store, but this is like a traditional German hat that you'd wear with lederhosen. Do we have something a little bit cooler? Oh, we do? Great. Yeah, much better. Welcome, stranger. Take your boots off, stay a while. It's time, once again, to let the dice decide our fate. Oh, you don't know. Oh, stranger, you have come during the right season. For around these parts, during this time, it's Metal Month. And during Metal Month, we play a game called Writing Songs from Random Drum Grooves, in which we let the dice decide what the drummer will play. Are you in? That's what I thought. The rules are this. I roll the dice for the tempo and the key of the song, and then for each section of the song, we roll for which MIDI pack it's going to come from, and then which specific performance. And that gives us our drum track, on top of which I will write a song, which I will then pass off to our guest vocalist, who will write their part on top of that. So with no further ado, let's roll. First, and possibly most important, I'm gonna roll for the tempo. I'm gonna roll these two and then add 100, 134. Then we're gonna roll a D12 for the key, where C is 1 and so on. 7, F sharp. Now we're gonna roll to see which MIDI packs each part of the song is gonna come from. We've got Metal Machinery, Power Metal, Progressive Foundry, Doomcore, Modern Metal, and Metal Fusion. So I'm gonna roll the D6. We're gonna start with the intro. 5, which is Modern Metal. Verse 1, 4, Doomcore. Pre-chorus 1, Modern Metal. Chorus 1, 2, Power Metal. And then an interlude, because I like to have an interlude after the first chorus, so. 1, Metal Machinery. Verse 2, 6, Metal Fusion. Pre-chorus 2, Power Metal. Chorus 2, Metal Machinery. Now the bridge, Metal Fusion. Now chorus 3, Doomcore. Outro, Progressive Foundry. That gives us the packs that we're gonna be pulling from. Now we gotta roll for the specific grooves that we're gonna be using. Today we're using Easy Drummer 3. It's new for this year. Totally awesome. We're gonna open up the Grooves tab. Our intro is from the Modern Metal pack, so we're gonna head over to the Modern Metal library. Looks like there's about 20 of them, so I'm gonna roll the D20, 10. So there's our intro, and we're off to the races. Next up, Doomcore, 41. Pre-chorus 1 is from Modern Metal. 4. First chorus, which is from Power Metal, my personal favorite. Okay. 23. Interlude, which is from Metal Machinery. There aren't parts marked as an interlude for this, so I'm just gonna use a chorus. 4. Verse 2 is from Metal Fusion. 41. Pre-chorus 2 is Power Metal. 15. Chorus 2 is from Metal Machinery. 2. Bridge is from Metal Fusion. 10. Chorus 3 is from Doomcore. 20, a natural 20. And then lastly, our outro is from the Progressive Foundry. 4. Now that the dice are cast, let's see where our rolls will take us, shall we? So much better. Yeah, much better. All right. Now we can actually start writing the song. I feel like I need something else though. All right. Yeah, Now we're ready. Nothing really out of the ordinary on this one. Meat and potatoes, groovy, chunky parts. I am very excited to write some guitars to this, so let's do it. As I often do, and I will encourage you to do this as well, I'm going to start with the chorus because it's the most important part of the song and everything would grow from that, and we're gonna sort of point all the other parts at it. I'm currently using my favorite Easy Mix guitar tone, which is Addictive from the Andy Sneap pack. Kind of like the thing that I did here. That is a sick rhythm. Doesn't really feel like a chorus part, does it? Okay, well, don't always gotta swing at the first pitch, you know what I mean? That'll do for now. I can get good at it later. Yeah. This last one kind of sucks, so I'm gonna change it. I came up with something way meaner and way less completely different from the rest of it. Yeah, that's a lot meaner. Now let's listen to it all together. Just enough of a rhythmic variation to keep it from sounding annoyingly repetitive, but not so much that it takes you completely out of it. Although I kind of want a little twist in there at the end. Maybe what I'll do is when it loops back around, I'll throw in a little twist. I like rhythmic twists. So what I mean by that is that I'm gonna sort of use the same pitches, but change where they fall in the measure, basically where they're gonna be accented. Woo-hoo-hoo! That's a lot of notes! Cool, for this next part, it's gotta kind of take off. A nice melody might go good here. This is very important because even though this says it's just an interlude, really it's sort of a restatement of the theme that doesn't exist yet. So whatever I put here is also going to be the intro. That's how we're gonna keep it super cohesive. I'm gonna show you a little bit about how I track things. Makes this so much easier. I have a bunch of tracks of the same thing, of whatever I'm writing. I get the same sound, and if you're using Easy Mix, it takes up basically no computer power, so you can put a bajillion instances of it. So I'll basically record like one little bit at a time. I record it on this first track, and when I have what I want, I just drop it down onto the second track. That way I can hear it as I'm going. I also always keep a mute track, because sometimes you need to not hear the thing that you recorded that you thought that you liked. I don't know if this is good, but I'm gonna get the whole idea out before I start judging it. If you're too scared to try something because you think it's gonna suck, you're never gonna get to the good thing. Thinking this might be cooler an octave down. I am going to spice it up a little bit. I'm gonna take this second half, syncopate it a little bit, and I'm gonna add a little chromatic twist. I kinda wanna keep it going. Okay, now we need some chords to go underneath this melody that I wrote. Got a couple ideas. You might think of this as being kind of backwards, writing a melody first and then harmonizing it with chords underneath. I do it both ways. Sometimes the melody presents itself and you sort of have to just get it out before you drop some chords underneath it and give it some context. Sometimes I'll do it like a little bit at a time. I'll do a little bit of lead and then a little bit of chords and then a little bit of lead and sort of bounce back and forth. Right now I'm able to write the rhythm guitar part to fit the mood of the melody that I've already written. And since the melody is more important and the rhythm guitar part is just support, sometimes it makes a lot more sense to do it that way. We've written the most important things first. We've written our chorus part and our motif, and those are the most important things. Then we know what we're aiming at. Going about it this way really prioritizes the most important things and sets you up for setting up the important parts of the song. Every part of the song matters, but all roads lead towards the chorus. Chorus is kind of like a city, and in this metaphor, the verse is the road. I think now that I've got the seed of the idea, I'm actually gonna go back to the intro because this is where we're gonna first hear this motif, and I'm gonna try and come up with something that fits over the intro groove. I kinda don't love that the initial version of it that I came up with changes too much. I gotta figure out a way to make it simpler, actually. I don't know that it's gonna get a whole lot simpler than that without becoming extremely boring. Playing it over this beat helped me to really strip it back. Something too busy in this intro part just sounds ridiculous. There's some really interesting kick drum parts going on here, so I'm gonna try and match them. Pretty interesting rhythmic interplay between the rhythm guitars and the lead guitars. It works though, it works pretty good. This is starting to sound pretty cool, but what I realized is that maybe I need to make it sound better in order to sell it to myself a little bit. This is something that I have to do sometimes, mostly to hear the ideas in a better context. So I am going to throw Easy Mix on the mastering chain. The closer that you can hear it to the final product during the process, the better. I'm gonna change this chord at the end here though. So I'm now coming back to this after a couple of days, and I decided that I'm gonna change up the ending to this intro bit. I like the idea of the chords that were in here, but I wanna try something slightly different. So now I have to come up with something cool for here. That's weird. Da 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 da. Like that clearly sounds like a lead-in. I don't have to hit every single drum hit, every single crash exactly the same, but there are certain things in the groove that if I try to just sort of steamroll them, it's not gonna work. And the kicks are in really cool spots. That gives me a really good opportunity for some cool groovy bits. That's weird, but it works pretty good. I'm getting a grimace, and that means that this is cool. But I'm kind of feeling like the stops make it not as groovy. That's really fun to play. As long as we're on this sludge tip, let's just keep it going. That sounds like something that Keith Merrow would do. I hope it's not something Keith Merrow has actually done. This is pretty far outside of what I would normally do, but I like it. So we gotta get back to F sharp. I actually had an idea for a little bit of a slightly meaner twist. Sometimes, but not always, fourths instead of fifths are meaner sounding. That gets us all the way to the pre-chorus. So now we have to connect the verse to the chorus. Here's our chorus again. I'm just gonna add some chords that really build up the tension and dump us right into the chorus in a big way. The beat sounds like this. Dot, 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 dot. This last chord here dumps us on an A minor. Came up with this chord progression. I want this chord to also kind of resolve. That is uncomfortable to play, but it sounds really cool. I should probably split up these parts to 2 different guitars, but for right now, I just gotta get the idea down. That really takes us into the chorus though. I'm kind of feeling like this needs some keyboard arpeggios on top of it. I got my little MIDI keyboard and I'm gonna pull up my favorite Easy Keys patches. I think this part is calling for a pipe organ. And now I get to flex my completely mediocre keyboard skills. That's much quirkier. This one's like a B dominant 7. Yeah. Now I want a different sound. So many different organ sounds. Nope, definitely not that. And I suppose I should come up with a left-hand part for it too. Sounds a little bit empty. That's pretty sick. And dang it, I am not gonna miss a chance to record my favorite thing, Mellow Tune, also from Tune Track, of course. Yeah, yes. So now I'm gonna try the thing that I always try every time, which is to see if it's gonna work to copy and paste all of this. But because we're working with completely different drum beats, I have no idea if that's gonna work or not. Hopefully they work at least reasonably well so that I have to make minimal tweaks to the second time that they happen. Let's see, here we go. That worked extremely well. Gonna have to make a couple little tweaks, but that's most of the song done right there. I'm gonna have to do something to spice up that last chorus. That leaves us with the whole song, except for a bridge. Gotta write a bridge. For the second pre-chorus, to ramp things up a bit, I'm gonna double up the little organ arpeggios on the lead guitar, if I can do it. I like it a lot. I wanna keep it really cohesive, especially for the bridge when it's supposed to tie everything together. So I kinda wanna do like a version of the intro melody. It needs to be more powerful though. What if I added a full stop, 4 bars? That's pretty ominous. Sometimes I like to do this like halfway between palm muted and open thing, like a long palm mute. So mainly what I like about that is that it's a dynamic level that we haven't done yet. And then we ratchet up the tension again by changing the texture halfway through. Now I'm gonna spice up this bridge with more of that melody part, but in a kind of subtle way. I think I gotta change these chords. I think going with your first instinct is a really good idea a lot of the time, but that doesn't mean that you have to stick with it forever. If there's something cooler, you should go with that. And then we're gonna quit playing with them and just give it to them full bore. And then to just even give it to them more, a little bit of an octave up. Everything but the last note. We got a bridge. We built this bridge I'm just gonna keep layering keyboard sounds because I love keyboards so much. They're just gonna add a little bit of something, you know what I mean? Creating the soundscape part of the song is something that I like almost as much as writing the song itself, especially if I'm using stuff that is outside of the usual guitar, bass, drums, and vocals. So the next one I'm gonna try is this cinematic grand easy keys, which is like a prepared piano, and that is cool as hell to me. There's all kinds of weird sounds in here. I thought this one might be cool for sort of zhuzhing up the end melody. This is basically the ear candy portion. Create a mood, a vibe, an atmosphere. Here's the thing that I do sometimes, at a big dramatic moment, just one huge low piano note. Now it's time for something incredibly important, which is to add bass. Today I'm using easy bass with the metal expansion. Sounds devastating. I personally like using the keyboard to start, but the easy bass audio tracker also works really, really well. I take every opportunity to spice up my bass lines. Sometimes there's just not any room for it, but usually if you just look for the spaces and fill them with something cool, it works pretty well. I really like just sort of walking between the chords a little bit with the bass. That usually carries you from one chord to the next, especially with really weird chromatic riffs like this. I definitely make sure to program it an octave higher and then bump it down. For this part, I don't want the bass to hit the exact same rhythm as what the guitar is doing. I want it to fill it out, so I'm gonna do something that is close but different. I would describe this part of the song as being very swampy. The chorus guitar part is extremely busy, very riffy, sort of pedaling off of this one low note, and then there's like these melody notes against it. In my opinion, it's much more important to support that low root note, that pedal tone, than try and hit all those high notes. You want to hear those high notes as relative to the pedal tone. I opt for something much simpler with the bass at parts like this. That's a bit fatter to me. I will definitely catch this fast line though. Dega, 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 dega. This next part really is gonna demonstrate why I don't like to have the bass follow those sort of melody notes exactly. We gotta catch the lift here. I've got this sort of cool chord motion that is implied with the guitar part. If I try and follow the melody notes of the guitar, it's just not gonna fill it out the way that it needs to. So that gives us... That sounds good to me. Normally, at this point in the process, I take whatever I've got, I send it off to our guest vocalist, and then I just wait for them to send back their tracks for whatever it is that they write and record. But this time, our guest vocalist, JoAnne, is in LA. She lives here, so she's just gonna come by and record her parts here. So check it out.
Where would you like to start?
Let's just start at the beginning.
Start at the very beginning, a very good place to start. Yeah, fantastic. Right out of the microphone.
Even with like the vibrato, that's funny.
I would kill to be able to do that. You want to try some harmonies on that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for this next section, I think it should be a rap.
I presume that you're kidding.
Yes.
This is the chorus.
Let me just do like a fake scream over it, just so you know what I'm talking about.
Awesome. Here we go.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like with actual screams. Maybe we could just do the singing now, and then later when we're doing the screams, we can come back and fill that in.
That's a fucking great idea.
Can you hear me now?
Let's try a higher one and see how it sounds.
I feel like I'm in a hair metal band.
Can you try one thing real quick? Can you try this line? Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me now?
Maybe we'll keep it, maybe we won't. But now we've got it.
Now we got it. Maybe we do, maybe we don't.
Maybe we do, maybe we don't. Were you gonna scream the whole verse?
Yeah, I was thinking that whole part could be a scream.
And then is the second chorus identical to the first one?
I think it should be, and that has screams in it too. Every day, all I want is to say.
Yeah.
All I want.
That's all 4 of those takes stacked on top of each other.
Oh, wow.
That's the first half of the bridge. If you wanted to do it as kind of like a duet, we could like kind of harmonize on the second half of the bridge or do like a back and forth sort of a thing.
I think that would work. Literally, when you played it, I was thinking that before you said it. Every time, every day, all I want is to slide.
that gave me the chills. I like that a lot.
Is to slide.
Oh, okay. We never did the screams in the chorus. Let's hit those now. How loud?
Can you hear me now? Is to slide. Oh, but
Basically, let's do whatever we need to do for the chorus.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I'm just gonna try something and see if it works. Oh, hey, now I'm in here. I'm the man in the box.
Can you hear me now? Yeah, that sounds sick. Can you hear me now?
That was an unexpected note.
Yeah, the ending
But it
one
works.
was weird, but I just went with it.
No, I like it. Can you hear me meow?
Can you hear me now?
That's pretty angelic.
It sounds like little flowers singing. In my brain, I'm kind of splitting this part up into 4 quarters. The third quarter, the guitar gets really cool, and I kind of want to like match what the guitar's doing with the rhythm of my vocals. I don't want to wait for you to show me. Playing close to get around it. Playing the songs to feel the downbeat.
Yeah.
Doesn't actually make sense, but it still sounds cool.
So there you have it. You have now seen the entire process of me writing this song, from rolling dice to pick out the drum parts, all the way up through recording the final vocals with our guest vocalist. If you want to learn more about how I write songs sort of the more usual way, I have a whole course called Complete Rock and Metal Songwriting. You can find out more about that at the link in the description below. Huge thanks to TuneTrack for sponsoring this and all of my Metal Month videos for 2022. Love doing these. You can find everything that I used in this video at the links in the description as well. And now, with no further ado, I present to you the final product. It's a music video. You can watch it. Go ahead, click on it. I feel like Vanna White over here. Come on, click on it.